Today we're looking at Google Trends and how we can find items to sell. So here we are looking at Google Trends. The way to find it is just go on Google and search for Google Trends and you'll find the site. And this is a really cool site, especially for us online sellers, because here we can find out what are the recent trends and just to basically get a feel for the market we're working in. And here I'll demonstrate how we can use this to really pick up on some interesting things. So as an example, as a control item here, I'm searching for a fidget spinner. I just know that this was a hot item recently and it has been actually going down. And Google actually confirms this because we can see a sharp rise. It was never popular. This is a new thing. So going back 5 years here, this is a new item, and the peak of interest happened to be around the second and third week of May. But since then, it's been going down. Okay. And in another video here, we found the same results actually on MarkSight. But it's good that we can actually confirm the same thing on Google. This means that we're sort of on the right track of our research. But let's find out interesting things about other items like aviator sunglasses. Why not? Let's see. Okay. We can see that this is a highly seasonal item, first of all. So the peaks are happening in late spring and summer every time. You can see that, late spring and summer. And of course, in the winter time, nobody wants these glasses. So if we are going to get into this business, it would be actually right now. Okay, we can see that this is peaking 100% interest. It's happening this week, okay, or these days. And I expect what will happen is just like in the previous years, interest will peak, it'll stay stable for a couple of months, and then it'll fall off. But then the following year should repeat, okay? Because that's simply what it's done the last years here, okay? Last year, the year before that, year before that. Actually, one additional interesting thing here is that there's more interest in these sunglasses now than there was last year, okay? Curious. So we've learned that this is a seasonal item, and we also learned when to sell this. Summer and late spring is the time. Let's see what else we can find out. Let's search something totally unrelated. Yeah, just as an experiment. Let's search for YouTube marketing, for example. See what we can learn. Okay. One thing that I noticed is that it's slowly but surely, ever so slowly, it's sloping upwards. So 5 years ago, the interest was at 50, but ever so slowly it's going up. One additional thing that you'll notice is that every year, right around Christmas time, interest just drops off dramatically, causing this downward peak here. And this basically tells me, if I had to guess, that simply everybody's on vacation for Christmas and nobody's doing much YouTube marketing at this time. Interesting, right? So Google is telling us that, of course, they don't research every single keyword that I'm going to search here, but through their algorithms, they're able to pick up that this particular term, it does have one predictable thing happening every year, and that is Christmas. It falls off, but then it quickly grows back up and continues upwards. Okay, how about an item? What about coffee box? Wow, look Look at that. Really cool. Nobody ever buys coffee mugs in the summer. So if you're gonna get into this business, be warned that you shouldn't sell this stuff in the summer. And when is the time to sell this? It seems like you should stock up and start selling this at the end of October, right? Starting in November, you can always expect a huge shoot up in demand, or at least an interest. I mean, this is obvious, of course, but now we have actual scientific proof that this is happening, and it's peaking at, I'm just trying to pick this up right there, just before Christmas, I guess, and then it falls off again. So maybe for the holidays, everybody's getting a little coffee mug as a present, maybe with a picture or whatever, to give to a loved one or to a friend. And that's the coffee mug business right there. Huge rise in November. Let's search for something else. How about sports bottles? So the opposite of a coffee mug, right? Sports bottles. Now, isn't that interesting? No seasonality here whatsoever that I could see. So this basically means, okay, there's some peaks downward here. November, first week. November, first week. Okay, November also. First week of November. You can always expect demand to go down. But otherwise, these sports bottles, they say roughly the same all year round. Very cool. Okay, so as opposed to a coffee shop, this means a coffee shop can only sell coffee mugs in December or November, and a sports shop can sell sports bottles literally all year round, no problem. So that's why I'm saying you should always do this kind of research, because you'll never know what you'll find. I was actually expecting a sports bottle when I was searching this. I was expecting the summer months to be popular, but this is not the case. As you can see right here, interest is roughly the same all year round. Now let's see how we can unite this kind of research with MarkSight. So let's search for shirt. Okay, basic generic item. Let's say I wanted to get into the shirt business. Let's see what we have. First of all, we'll see that interest right now is again higher than the previous 5 months. So maybe this is a lucrative area for some of you people out there. It is also a little bit seasonal. So just like with the coffee mugs, we can see that Christmas, lots of people, it looks like they get t-shirts or shirts for Christmas. After Christmas, sharp downturn, but then it slowly goes back up, and this repeats every year. Okay, so the lowest point of sales or point of interest happens to be around the first week of January. Again, a lot of people are on holidays, so I guess nobody's buying shirts. Quite obvious. So it's good that we pick up on this. I like that shirts right now are booming. It seems to be like a huge boom. Okay, so again, as opposed to just comparing the last 5 years, this is going back to 2012. Please remember that this is a comparative chart. So the peak that you see now, it's comparable to all the previous peaks, and this peak is higher. Highest has ever been was like 84, and now we're at 100. Okay, so not sure in percentage wise, but I'm guessing that we're probably 20-25% higher interest than ever in the last 5 years right now for shirts. So let's say I wanted to take this further, and I wanted to find out, well, what kind of t-shirt do I want to sell, what size, and so on. Where do I want to sell it? Well, Google Trends also offers some additional hints. So we can see by interest by region. So Philippines, I guess that's where t-shirts are, where a lot of them are produced. But the next one is the US. After that is the UK, roughly the same, 87, 84. So if you're going to sell shirts, do this in the US and the UK. then followed by Netherlands. Singapore is, I guess, a producer, and Australia is a consumer. So you can pick up by region, and also some related topics and basic other queries, but this is sort of useless for us here. Where MarkSight comes in is with research going back 2 months. So this is for gold members or gold subscriptions. Again, only costs about $6 or $7 a month, so maybe quite worth the money. But let's search for shirts going back 2 months in the clothing, shoes, and accessories section and see what sells. First of all, we can see a sell-through of 16%. This is, I guess for shirts, this is acceptable. This is kind of expected. I wouldn't expect that every single shirt out there sells. That would be strange, actually. But 16% is, I guess that's fair enough. And we can pick up on what stuff actually sells. So in the $18 range, we have blue, okay, XL. XL is, I guess, the most popular size. Even I wear XL shirts. Men's and polos, okay. Any other things that we can pick up? Burberry. Again, XL, okay. Men's, some men's t-shirts or shirts. Then in the $100 range, we have vintage and I guess some really special items, but still interesting to see this. White Gucci, okay, so a Gucci shirt is being sold for what, 140 bucks, and so on. So we can use MarkSight to basically hone down on which kind of product we want to sell. Let's take a look at top selling items. What sells there? And I actually looked at this in advance, and I was looking at the list. You can do this also once you register and subscribe. But one thing I found interesting here was this ping golf shirt, and I was like, what is ping? And if we look at the items, let me just show you this. Ping turned out to be the brand, so I didn't know there was a Ping brand out there, but now I do. So Ping shirts, quite popular, top sellers, being sold right now by one person for 17 bucks, getting 2.5 bids every auction on average. So that's quite nice. Anyway, I hope this helps you guys. Again, you can use Google Trends like this to pick up on basic trends, and then you can use MarkSight to hone down on your area and the specific type of item you want to sell. Thanks for watching.